Day 10 of Home and Harmony. I got notes today. I am feeling under the weather, but I'm still gonna be here and show up for y'all and myself. Today I want to talk about releasing martyrdom and protecting your energy. Releasing this need to save everyone. And a lot of the time we do that because we're trying to protect this identity that we have in ourselves of being a kind person, and we can still be kind and not save everyone, not have the weight of the world on our shoulders. No, you go do your puzzle, honey.
I don't want to do my puzzle.
Can you do your puzzle?
Come here, buddy.
What's Daddy have for you? What's he have? He's got something that's fun for you.
What, Dad?
Come on.
Thanks, Boo.
Dad, what do you...
Before we get into it, I want to do just a little breath with you guys. So let's take a big breath in. As you exhale, just releasing the day. Maybe allowing your shoulders to relax. Maybe doing a little one of these. Maybe scrunching up to your ears and releasing. I've been really liking that lately. One of my favorite mantras with breath is inhale, presence. Exhale, peace. Even if you hear the scrunching of my son's snow clothes, which look, it's snowing, or it snowed. It's not snowing currently. It did. Yeah, inhale, presence. Exhale, peace. Allowing the day to wash away, allowing whatever is on your mind at present to fall away, allowing you to be here for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. And just soak up the message I have for you today. So, martyrdom is something that so many of us carry. It's something that a lot of us saw modeled by our mothers, by even some of our fathers. And it's something that I think a lot of us, especially if you're here with me, whether live or after the fact, martyrdom is something that we're meant to be cycle breakers of. Like I said yesterday, this is, there are these ways of being that were normalized back in the day. Particularly if you had parents that were alive in the 50s and 60s, and there's a new way of being. Like, we're in the age of Aquarius right now. Aquarius is all about new ways of being and doing things. Nye, what are you looking for, honey? Oh, good job. Okay, love you. I shoveled a little bit outside too, so hopefully that helped. But yeah, a lot of us are called to be cycle breakers of this. And I want us to first examine, am I this person that is holding the weight of everyone around me? It's good to show up for other people. It's good to, especially to stand up for other people who maybe their voices have been muted or historically silenced. But whenever it is impeding in your own life or impeding on your own ability to take care of yourself or your family, it's bleeding into you taking good care of yourself. That's when it's becoming too much. When you're taking on all of this stress and this, like we were talking about the other day, the shoulder pain and the shoulder tension or tension in your neck, when you feel these symptoms in your body, that's a sign you're holding too much, and it's time to let it go. I want to give you that permission today to just let go of what you've been carrying. Sorry, I'm going to look at my notes today. And a lot of us, our heart is in the right place. We're doing this because it hurts us to see other people struggle. And for me personally, I know that a lot of it is I'm not afraid to use my voice. I'm going to speak up because a lot of other people don't feel comfortable speaking up. They don't feel safe. I'm Pakistani, so in in the Middle East, in a lot of countries still, it's not actually safe for women to speak up. So I feel this sense of responsibility to do that. And then even on like a not as crazy level, like it's snowing today, and this always brings up this weird savior complex within myself where like if I'm shoveling our snow, um, I feel like I have to shovel all the way, I have to shovel both neighbors on my sides too. And I have to go even a little bit further into their neighbors and their neighbors. And then I'm like shoveling, the whole freaking neighborhood. And it's like, that is not my responsibility. Everyone can do their own homes. Like, yes, if I have the energy and the time, sure. But do I need to do that? Because in my brain it's like, well, if I'm not shoveling other people's driveways, then like I'm not a kind person, I'm not a good person. Because what kind of person only shovels to their imaginary property line? Like that just never made sense to me. But unpacking it in therapy, it's like it's this need to overperform to prove to myself that my identity in this being a kind person, like, well, you're a kind person, so what kind of a kind person would only shovel to their property line? That's kind of a dick move. Like, and it's just this made up thing in my head that I got in my head from probably my lineage, and it's not mine to carry. I can just shovel what is my responsibility and let the other shit go. Like, especially for something like that where it's just not that fucking deep. Let's see. And one thing I want us to explore in like the homework and the aftermath of this live is what part of you is healed when you're helping others? What part of you is that serving? Because at the end of the day with our egos, like it is partially in service to ourselves. So like for me with the shoveling example, it's feeding this identity that I have of being a kind person. And it's like, if I don't do this, then I'm not a kind person, or I make those things mutually exclusive and they're not. So what need in you is this fulfilling? What's the like identity behind why you're doing what you're doing? I really want us to just explore that and observe it. We're not here to judge. We're not here to demean ourselves and be rude to ourselves. We're here to observe and learn and grow, right? And then in addition to what part of you is healed by helping, what part of you is hindered? Like for me, I know sometimes I won't be able to go to sleep because I'm sitting there thinking about like, particularly when it comes to my corporate job, like I'm thinking about solutions that I can come up with to if I bring up a solution to my boss and he's like, no, I don't like that. Like right now we have this new dress code being implemented and I'm worried about the people that can't afford new clothes. And I'm sitting there like, he told me no for my first idea, which was like too expensive. And I'm like, okay, well, we're a billion-dollar company, so let's figure it out. I know there's a way to make it work. But then I'm like, okay, well, what if we had like, free, if it's the merch of the company, then like, why can't that just be free? And that's like a collared shirt and that's easy. Like, I'm thinking of these solutions, which is a good thing, but when it's interfering with my sleep, that's when it's a problem. And that's when I need to like turn my brain off and be like, this can be something I can think about later. Like right now, my sleep is important and I need to get my sleep so I can show up and be my best tomorrow. Your hamster died today. I'm so sorry. I hope you give yourself space to grieve. I know a lot of people like think when a pet dies it doesn't mean as much because they're not like a person, but give yourself whatever space you need. Like if you need to call into work, if you need to, cry in the bathtub and I don't know, look at pictures of them or something, like grieve in whatever way you need to, but I'm so sorry. You can light a candle for them and like light their path home, their soul's path back to their origin or whatever you believe in. But I'm so sorry, Robin. And hi, Cernoni. But I want to give us permission today to step out of this identity of being the martyr and being the person who overextend themselves to care. I know I see this with a lot of nurses too, like people that go into these professions that, in these professions of service, and then they, even after they retire from nursing, they're still used to like overextending themselves and this for the sake of other people. We can step away from that identity. We don't have to have that be tied to our identity anymore. You're not responsible for saving the world. You are not responsible. It's not your job to save everybody. It's not your job. It was never your job. It was never meant for you to hold all of that weight. Everyone has their own timing and their own lessons and their own like journey on this planet, their soul's evolution. And who are we to get in the way of that? Like, especially when we're stepping in for other people, like even, if I want to go there, like even this work example, like, you know, it's not my job to find solutions for other people. As great as that is, for me to like look for ways where other people can benefit from a policy that I'm implementing. And it's hard because I've already implemented another policy that benefited people. So I'm like, let's move on to the next one. But it's not my job. And in some ways, like, these are people that when you're in a victim mentality almost, it's like you're going to stay there until you break out of that. And for some of these people, if they are living in a victim mentality, they've got to be responsible for their own solutions. They've got to come up with that on their own. And like, it's not my job to save them. And it's not your job to save other people that you might feel the need to save. I know this is true in a lot of families with addicts. Like, you can't hold on to hope for someone that doesn't hope for themselves. I have learned that from being around addicts in my own life, but it's just not your job to carry the weight of everyone around them. You're hindering their growth when you do that, and you're hindering your own ability to hold space for yourself and for like the people that you're actually responsible for. Like for me, it's my kids, right? I'm not actually responsible for anyone but my own kids, not even my husband. Like, he's on his own journey, and like sometimes I'll not bring something up because I'm like, oh, it's gonna put him in a bad mood, and I don't want to put him in a bad mood. But it's like that's not my job to like protect him from being in a bad mood. Like, he's okay to be in a bad mood, and I can bring something up and get it off my chest. I don't have to hold that. So it's in all of these different ways. Like, I really want us to dig into and explore all of the ways where we're being martyrs, where we don't have to hold that responsibility and that weight. Even when you think of women who, how many of us have taken a pregnancy test and we don't even mention that we're worried about being pregnant until after we've taken the test and after we see the results. Like, we're not even sharing the weight of that stress with whoever it is that maybe got us pregnant. Like, again, this is a way of being that is from the past, and it is our responsibility as cycle breakers to move into a new way of being in the future. I just want to give us all that all that permission, because whenever we're in this past pattern, it's going to be leading us to resentment and burnout and just feeling responsible for everyone and having that manifest in our body, intention in our bodies. So instead of saving others, I want us to just walk the path for other people. Be in your own work. Be like, as Gabby Bernstein says, clean up your own side of the street. Like, do your work to make sure that you're good and that you're healing. Be the example in your home, at your work, anywhere that you go. You can be the example and let other people see, like, oh, that's a way of being that I want to be. Not like, okay, I'm this example and I have to be this and I need to show up for everybody else because that's my job. It's not your job, and it was never meant to be your job, especially for like oldest children. I know that's such a wound, but it's not your job to carry everybody. It's not your job to take care of everyone. Everyone is responsible for saving themselves, and that is part of this accountability that we're responsible for as human beings. If you're not taking accountability for your own life and where your actions have led you, you're I don't know, I don't want to say you're not growing, but like you're doing yourself a disservice. So you don't have to sacrifice, you don't have to overperform, you don't have to manage everyone's chaos. You can stand rooted in your truth and just be that expression of truth rather than running around in the chaos and micromanaging the chaos and trying to hold the burden so that other people don't have to feel it. Like, just because you can carry it doesn't mean that you should, and doesn't mean that it's your responsibility. I know that I get in that trap. But be the person, don't be the person who overextends yourself anymore. This is about an identity shift. Be the person who is, who has strong boundaries, who says no, and who doesn't take shit, and who honors their limits instead of pushing against them, right? Yeah, Robin, that sounds shitty. And I want you to also, like, in your grief, yes, you can be mad at that person, but like, eventually I think you're gonna have to forgive that person too. Yeah, I don't mean that right now, because right now it's the grief is very strong, but when you are ready to move into forgiveness, that's also gonna be part of your healing and part of your grieving journey. So how do we make this identity shift from being the martyr to being someone who allows other people to make their own mistakes and who allows someone else to make their own mistakes and to be on their own journey without interfering and intervening? Because we're like, well, it's my way, and this is that control freak in us, right? Ask yourself, is this my battle to fight? Is this mine to carry? A lot of the time, that'll be enough of a clarity for you. And remembering that helping is optional. Like, you have a choice with what you take on and what you carry. You don't have to carry it all. I want to say that again. You don't have to carry it all, especially if you're someone who is used to doing that. If you've seen that modeled for you, you are the cycle breaker and you get to release that shit and let it go. You get to live a lighter life. It's not your job to save everyone. It's not your job to step in and be the protector all the time. That's great if when you want to do that and you have the space to, but it is not your job to do that all the time. And I'm saying this for myself just as much as I'm saying it for anyone, because I need this shit too. And I think a lot of us get caught up in like at least for me, I know it's like, if I don't do it, then who's going to? But you have to let other people step up, and you have to step out of this trauma response, because martyrdom at the end of the day is a trauma response. It's a way of keeping your identity as a kind person safe, because we think, well, if I'm not putting my own needs second to other people's, then like that's not what a kind person does, when really that's the mindset shift that we need to look at. And it's like, actually, I can be a kind person, and I also can prioritize myself and not overextend myself for the sake of saving other people, because that's not noble, you know? Oh, I like this. But that version of you that's overworked, that version of you gets to soften. Oops. You don't heal by overfunctioning. You gotta let go of the grip. You gotta let adults be adults and live their own path and be in their own growth. Like, that's part of what being on this earth plane is, right? It's growing and evolving and learning and seeing your patterns and the ways that are of being that are not helpful. And a lot of the time, the people that we want to save are people who are dedicated to their victim stories. And when you go to rush to save them, you are validating them as a victim, when that's not going to serve them. So you want people to step out of this victim role and take accountability and take charge of their own life and their own actions and their own repercussions, right? If we always step in and save people, again, this comes up with addicts too. Like if we always rush to save people, we are denying them of their own lessons in this life. So your power isn't coming from saving the world, it's coming from saving yourself. And sometimes we want to save the world, and the best thing that we can do to do that is to step back, sit on our hands, and let other people make their mistakes and learn and grow themselves without us intervening. That intervention sometimes isn't always great. You know, it doesn't always actually help them. We think that we're helping, but it's actually hindering them. And when this serves us, because when we're regulated and clear, it makes us lighter. It allows our homes to feel lighter, and that impacts how we can show up and serve, not just in our home. It allows us to be the matriarch in our home and set the energy of our home, and set these homes that feel calm and peaceful, right? The whole point of this 28 days of home and harmony is creating homes that feel light and spacious and peaceful and not chaotic. So don't absorb everyone else's chaos. And tomorrow, I'm excited to give you guys a meditation to protect your energy from chaos and making sure that we're not carrying other people's chaos with us. Yeah, so just today, I just want to give you that permission to release the burden of being everyone else's savior so you can return home to you and your home and your body and your home within your body, right? I don't want you to feel this weight that's manifesting in your shoulder pain or your neck pain. I want you to feel light and empowered and spacious in your everyday and giving and free and not weighed down by the weight of the world. So let that go today and be free. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Day 11.